Alrighty, this is week number 6 of the Strive Studio class. This week I have notes to be done for ShaperDreaming. ShaperDreaming, you can see player 2 side here, against player 1, Frankopotamus. Frankopotamus, local talented Biken player, and ShaperDreaming, I know they've been participating in a lot of beginner tournaments lately. So I'm curious to see how Shaper's growth has been. Shaper was the subject of our second week of studio class. They came in not having been paired up for the week, but having their beginner bracket footage to share. And I'm excited to see how they're developing. Although this isn't a studio class this isn't a beginner bracket match. This is against someone who's uh, definitely a well-to-do player. You can see Frankopotamus is a Celestial VIP in this recording. So we'll have to see how things go in. To start things off, as always, I'm going to be considering the round starts from both these characters. We have Baiken, a very strong round start character, and Testament, a character that really wants to have space to work with. Baiken has the present options that I always think of when I'm fighting against a Baiken are Far Slash, 2S, 2H, JD, and then, of course, you can consider 6P as a sort of reactionary round start. Testament, I don't expect has a lot of counterplay against these strong and very powerful round start options that Baiken has, but I am very confident to say that Testament has a comfortable pace of neutral. So as long as Shaper is able to get out and play the ground game against Baiken, things should be able to uh, really develop from there. Of course, you need to be able to play with the ground and watch out for the air approach because Baiken has the super low and super fast air dash along with JS. Let's see how this works. Round start interaction. Both players just backing off. I think that was actually a very good thing to see. It's just round start down back, right? Round start down back into dash back. Already really great things. I really like the passive play here at the round start. Allows you to get comfortable in space and do the Testament thing. We can already see that Frank is trying to get in, so let's just get in there. I think I saw preemptive Gravedigger. I think that's just moderate RPSing. I don't know. At this point, Baiken is all you can see. Baiken, you potentially have time to recognize that Baiken is in the air, since Frank did not do the IAD in. Rather, so Frank didn't do the instant air dash. Frank did jump back, hung there in the air, just floating in the air for just a little bit, and then air dashed in. Rather, they did a full jump and then air dashed. This sort of situational awareness is super strong against Baiken. I think the solution here is sort of the round start. Just create a bunch of space. Frank was scared of getting hit by I think the first hit of Gravedigger, so Shaper got out safely, but things can go very wrong if you make the wrong guess. Perhaps one solution against this is wait until you have full screen spacing to cover the grave digger, or I don't know, I guess like, or even an IAD back grave digger slash low air grave digger. This is not a, this isn't the like the one answer. There's a bunch of answers. This is not the only thing to answer Baiken being in the air. So we start the pressure, 5K, 6K, perhaps spacing, that's minus there. So yeah, that was a very brave press, but I'm actually not sure how the interaction works out here. So what I expect after Baiken doing Tatami is a far slash, because the second hit of Tatami is plus for Baiken, but not plus enough to get a true block string. So I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't know if this is... I'm not going to put this in the notes document, but in this interaction, like, maybe Testament 2K might go under far slash? Testament 2K, I think, is 6 or 7 frames and has a super great low profile. But Shaper gets that far slash there and tries to set up a bit of an autopilot after the Gravedigger. Yeah. Just because you have the succubus out doesn't mean you need to throw Unholy Diver. Make sure you can cover yourself or have time to be safe at your distance. And we get it. Not a punish. Frank again scared. Trying to catch a burst. This ought to be dead if this hits the wall. It doesn't. Counter hit. Patient bursting. Burst management there. This is a good use of stains and setup. Catching this ground. This is a repeat of the situation I saw at 022, so just be wary of that Shaper if you're watching this. So I think this is good use, and you did this sequence 3 times, actually. 53, you've done S, Grave, Digger, Unholy Diver 3 times in a row now. Be careful about being predictable. And I think that's a big reason why Frank got in here. Escabari, that's just a reaction test. That's +2. Escabari tether is. That was +2. I can hope that Shaper, if you were pressing a button, I hope you were pressing reversal super. Otherwise, good burst point. 5D accidental come out, I assume. 6H, great button. This was successful. While it did work, you as Testament do not have to be close to your opponent. You have really great mid to long range game. Like at that 3/4 screen right outside round start spacing, that's where Testament really does well. Right outside that H Kabari range. It worked out here, but I'm going to be looking out for it in the future, the rest of this set. And Shaper, be careful how you teleport, because you don't need to be close to your opponent. This is something that I talked about for Chroma previously. Ooh, good poke out. Unfortunate drop for Frank. You have 100% tension here. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna assume that was Unholy Diver and Nostrovia. That's an unfortunate whiffed 5p. I think that might have actually caught the jump in from Frank. Queuing up into the second game. Round start. Backdash. Love it. Love it. Love the round start. Backdash. Just some positive reinforcement there. Testament has a really great far slash of their own, but Baiken's 9-frame far slash, 9-frame far slash, its hitbox is kind of insane, clashes with a lot of things, and even beats out a lot of slower buttons. I'm not sure how fast Testament far slash is, but it's such a big threat at round start that you really need to look out for, and you've been playing pretty well against it so far. Whether or not that's just you trying to play the Testament game or playing against the versus Baiken game, I think that's just really good foundational game plan. Setting up the Gravedigger, Unholy Diver. This is the 4th time you've done this in a row. Gravedigger right into Unholy Diver. Some things to mix it up. Gravedigger into Far Slash, into 2K. Even just changing the timing of your Gravedigger, because you don't have to let it go right away. You can charge it. And even this patch, Gravedigger isn't limited to just one on screen, essentially. You can do it again. Just Gravedigger, Gravedigger, or even like S Gravedigger, H Gravedigger. There's a lot of different ways to vary it up. Good use of the far slash, going for the stain pop. Good use of 6p on the way down, but Testament 6p is really great. You just did a backdash here. So at any point you're feeling like you're trying to backdash away from an error approach, especially from Baiken. Baiken is 9 out of 10 times going to hit your backdash like this. I know this from experience. I've gotten bonked over and over by Frank, just trying to get away. I know Tower isn't a great place to really study this and like practice it, but just spending like a day or two, a weekend maybe, focusing on your 6p anti-airs. Actually, Tower might actually be a good place to try this out, because people are insane and they are always trying to air dash at you. Even just playing with your friends in a longer session. Just be wary and present about your 6p option. This is 147. Spend some time trying to get used to 6p anti-air. There have been many missed opportunities for it, and Testament's 6p is so good. All right, let's rewind this. We got the round start backdash. Already talked about that. Good use of the stain pop. 6p on the way in. There's that teleport again. I'm going to note it this time. I didn't the previous time, and it worked out this time. Actually, I don't think I need to note it. I think, at that spacing, 151. At the spacing you started from the teleport, I would feel comfortable teleporting in when the succubus is right next to the opponent, specifically Baiken. Especially against Baiken, is super scary. It worked out twice now, but I just want to caution you about it. So Testament's long-range game is amazing. Their long-range game is so good. You set out the Gravediggers, you 6p their anti-airs, especially Baiken, she's limited on the ground against Testament. Like a charged Gravedigger, not necessarily in this sort of spacing, but just having something out that can cover the ground as well as Testament's Fireball does, just opens up so much and allows you to play, I guess, sort of a reactionary game plan. Not necessarily reactionary, but it gives you the space to open up the preemption and reaction to someone getting frustrated from the Gravediggers and Stain loops. I think you're doing a great job of recognizing when Stain is on and when you can go for the Stain pop pressure extensions. But Teleport is super dangerous against a character with amazing close combat options. I'm just going to rewind here. 6p, yeah, 6p Gravedigger. There's a whiffed throw, ends up working. There's that 6H has worked out really well for you, and I'm excited to see you using it in this situation. The spacing was super far. Only 6H would hit at that big range, but Frank was doing a great job being outside that range. True block string. Arbiter sign up close, a little dangerous. I'll write that down to help get the point across. Arbiter sign super close, like that is dangerous. So in a situation like this, you have 6H stain pop. Of course, you get to get the true block string into the 50-50 high-low off of that. Happened to not work out here. With the stain pop, you have the time to get a charged Gravedigger, and it gets 2 hits at this range. You get the first hit strike and the second hit fireball. It's a spacing thing. Like 6H Stain Pop Arbiter at max range, fantastic. At like the max range of 6H. I think 6H Stain Pop Charge S Gravedigger, close range, a lot better. And I think in general it might be a little bit more versatile. So if you have one to default to, 6H Stain Pop, or it doesn't have to be 6H even, button Stain Pop, charge Gravedigger, like far slash, 2S, 5H, 6H, 2H even. 2H is so good with that. You get punished for this. Frank getting there meaty. That's just character awareness there. 50-50. Hard 50-50. Yeah, that's just messy guesses. You cannot really do anything about that. I hate that feeling so much. There it is again. Gravedigger into Unholy Diver. You've done it like 5 or 6 times now. Throw attempt 2D, not sure. Just gets clipped. What was the... Yeah. I think there's a bit of autopilot going on. And I can understand the panic. Baiken is so good at just scrapping. Like, she gets in your face and it's so scary. Like, far slash Gravedigger is fantastic if it hits. But what's the... I'm going to Dust Sleep. What's the frame advantage on far slash on block? We're going to go to Testament. There it is. Far slash -7 on block. So at far range, and it's... I feel like it has... It's like a good button you can just swing. You go like 1, swing it once, swing it again, just to like stagger a little bit. I've gotten clipped by it from like Bipal a lot. Random Testaments online. I've run into like Mango for Tango. They're also really talented. Just be wary that you don't have to always do button into special. I think that's a key thing there. Ooh, good call out. You've done defensive round starts so far. This one was reactive. Just cycle. I think your round start options are being cycled really well. I'm going to call it out. Putting it in the doc. Round start options have been cycled super well. Exclamation point. I'm excited about that. I think this it's your button into Gravedigger. Yeah, button Gravedigger into Unholy Diver again. Automatically. This might have been I mean this is of course situational. At this range, I'm not sure. You could have something that might have been solid, good idea. 6H Unholy Diver, because you have the succubus like right here. It might have been able to catch an air dash in. I'm not sure, but it's at that spacing. Like Baiken isn't going to be able to punish you without a hard call out, because Baiken is going to be wary of a special cancel after 6H. 6H is a button that you almost always want to special cancel after because it has a lot of recovery to it. But there's the startup of the Unholy Diver. This is like I've lost count. It's just a bit of autopiloting. Far slash whiff. 5p challenge. I just want to caution you again. If it works out in here, Tatami second hit is just a little bit plus. 5p is Testament's 5-frame button, I believe. It's either 5p or 2p. I'm honestly impressed that it actually hit at that range, but I guess there's a little bit of extra dash momentum, and I think Baiken was going for like 5k maybe? I'm not sure. There's the Unholy Diver again. Frank messed up their setup, but just empty throw. Super scary. Baiken on offense is... Jeez. Messy guess? Yep. You got hit low the last time. You got hit overhead this time. It just feels... It feels so bad. The close slash dash cancel BRC. Oh my gosh. It's so scary. Round start? Defensive round start. This was calling out the 6p this time. Now, I see the startup of far slash. This is the great spacing for it. You're playing the grounded. That was a messed up Unholy Diver. Autopilot. Good stain pop. Use the Gravedigger that time. Good adaptation. Good remembering that the Arbiter's Sign was super minus there. I lost track. There's the Unholy Diver after the Gravedigger. Preemptive 6p. Pretty solid. Frank has been very airborne. This is plus. Oh, I like... So you learned that you need to block after Escobar. Amazing, by the way. You're catching on. Yeah, this was just unfortunate guess. I think Frank did a tick throw in a previous setup. Doesn't go to super. Frank needs to just cancel into super early. Gun? Yeah. I get it. I get it. There wasn't a lot you could do there unless you were being preemptive, I think. A lot of like the default round starts from Testament get eaten up by that. But just something I want to point out. Testament. Baiken with 50% tension on round start. The gun is a guard crush. So it is super plus. Just something to be aware of. Round start gun, fairly solid layer 1, layer 2 round start from Baiken because she has such oppressive and confident round start buttons that it makes the opponent want to play more passively on round start, so that putting out the gun is sort of preempting that and creating a super beneficial situation for Baiken. Round start. Let's check it. Looked like you were trying to press a button. I saw walk forward, get hit, counter hit. If that was 6p again, it would have worked, just unfortunate mistiming. But I guess I'll never know. Yeah, that's a left-right 50-50. It does go under /. It does. Okay, I think I understand why Frank is being a little wary after the Tatami second hit. Okay. That's Testament privilege. That 2K is bonkers. Let's just admire this for a little bit. Look at this. Oh my god. That's the DLC 2K privilege. You buffered 2K 2D, which I think is fine here. Because it seems like you're leaning into the idea that 2K will hit, so you commit to the follow-up, which would be 2K knockdown. Into Gravedigger. There's a little slight delay. I guess maybe the timing was weird because you whiffed the 2K. But I'm going to assume that that was intentionally timed to be just true combo, true hit, 2K 2D Gravedigger, which is great. I'm going to just point that out again. 41-ish. Despite 2K whiffing, looks like you commit to the idea that this will hit and follow up with buffered 2D S Grave Digger. This is a good thought process and commitment when you're leaning into trying to break up the opponent's pressure. You don't want to leave the gap and just check them. You didn't do this, but it's something people do all the time. Like something that Macho said one time in studios, like someone put out a 6P and then just didn't do anything even though the 6P hit. It's like the idea that you're pressing the button and you commit to the button because if it missed, you're probably getting hit. But if it connects, then you get to get the free combo or full set up. So that was really good for you. Here's where the teleport doesn't pay off. This would have been a great place to use Unholy Diver. It looks to me here you're scared of being in the corner. For whiff 5K, I assume was missed input teleport. Whiff 5K, teleport. Just because you're in the corner doesn't mean you have to be scared. When Frank is super far away, that means you get to set up shop. Don't what am I going to say? So Frank is really far away. You get to do. It looks like he knows you want to teleport out. This is like you've done it a few times already. And at this point, he's sort of like camping it out. So you get to just completely set up. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to commit much. You can just move forward, put out a Fire Slash, put out a Gravedigger, Unholy Diver. Just because you're in the corner doesn't mean you have to be scared and have to get out as fast as possible. Don't rush to escape because that can lead to telegraphed options, such as air dash out, such as teleport out. You get punished for it. This is a terrible situation to be in. Baiken with the tether on you is one of the scariest things you can do. Baiting burst, double baiting burst. I admire the restraint on your burst. He hasn't been burst baiting all that much, but I don't. It's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, unfortunately. There's that 6p. I'm going to assume you tried to do that last round, and it worked out this time. Wonderful. It would have worked last time if you had just gotten the input, unfortunately, at the right time. I like this variation. There's that S Gravedigger. You set up H Gravedigger, S Gravedigger. You're just setting up shop. It looks like you're gonna get hit by. Oh, you got hit by Far Slash. I thought that was startup of 2H, but just you're covering your space here, and I assume that was a call out to an air dash, which is a good eye on you. I think this is maybe an overcorrection. It looks like you're just doing a lot of things really fast without much of a plan. I think the next step here, rather than defaulting to your one block string, mix in Gravedigger with your Far Slash. So you do like Gravedigger, dash up Far Slash, Gravedigger, dash up Far Slash, stagger your Far Slashes, do like Far Slash into Far Slash. And then once the opponent is scared of moving, that's when you can do your Unholy Diver, or they're scared of being on the ground. That's when you can use your Unholy Diver. You can react to their 6p. Because when you're not just pressing your buttons all the time, you get to have like more space to really set up and elaborate on your game plan. 415. I think this is an overcorrection on your autopilot S Gravedigger Unholy Diver. I think it was a it's a good thing that you are doing something different, but I think you should introduce your usage of normals into your zoning / pressure game plan. Just switch it up after you do your Far Slash or Gravedigger, but try not to just do special into special too much. Yeah, that Arbiter sign was just out of range. Super meaty on that JH. Tick throw. I'm going to assume that was reversal super. The timing is super wonky. It took me forever to get it even remotely consistent, and it's still so bad for me. I still get counter hit on wake up trying to DP. Ooh, good combo. Good recognition. Missed teleport throw. That would have put you into the corner. That's super scary. Unholy Diver. Frank messing up their setup. Burst bait. Close slash anti-air. Great usage. RC to keep yourself safe. Oh, unfortunate. You're super far away. You can react to it, but it takes a while to get used to. Ugh, oh my. Baiken is such a scary character. Oh my gosh. I hate it so much. I played against Alpaca this week. Once she gets in, it's scary. That's worked every time we've gone for it. Amazing. Frank just hasn't gotten the hard call out. I'm just going to go back to this zoning situation. Good usage. There's that Far Slash. There's that Far Slash. Yes, Shaper. Yes. Yes. Far Slash. Bounce back. Exclamation points. Amazing. Oh, that was a miss 2H. So at that range, so Arbiter Sign is super minus. You got to be careful. I think it's safe at this range because Baiken has a lot of really stubby normals, but something like Axel, Nagoriyuki, Ram, Bridget, maybe a few other characters, they might just be able to catch your recovery on this. To go on to say 2H is not really the button I expect is very beneficial here. Far slash maybe, 5k, 2k. If you're worried about timing on that, something like 2k would be great. That was missed their Kara. Good use of the H Gravedigger. I think now that you have shown it, Frank is being a little bit more grounded, so this Unholy Diver works quite well. The delay on that, catching the movement. I don't know if that was counter hit recovery. I don't think it would have been counter hit recovery. I think that's mostly for big reversals. I think that caught you pressing a button. That's the same situation with that 2H you went for previously. Also, you've only done low Arbiter. Consider using overhead Arbiter as well. Guaranteed burst point. You have 100% tension here. That caught the parry PRC! Oh, I think you could have killed there. I mean, this is just splitting hairs. 6H counter hit is juicy, especially with 100% tension. You get like 6H. You can do like Nostrovia or something. You have an RC as well. Just RC into Nostrovia maybe. I think even after that, you might get an Arbiter Sign off of the both hits of Gravedigger there. Unfortunate. 50% burst in a scary position here. Frank just did round start close slash 6 times in a row, getting punished for like 4 or 5 of them. And he still goes for it. The gusto, the gumption on this man to just do it. Oh, that's insane. Baiken players really are built different. Oh, good awareness, good punish. That's -7. 2k is 6 frames. Unholy Diver. I think he might have been able to respond air dash over. Not sure on reaction. Just getting in. What's the spacing on this? I expect that when a Testament's sort of in that spacing, they want to do very like mid-rangey options like far slash. 6H would have caught the air, 6p of course, 5p even. I think this was just good rock, paper, scissors from Frank here. I think there were a lot of things that a Testament would like to go for in this situation, and Frank found the answer to a lot of them. Meaty. If that's you trying to reversal super again, that's a safe jump, by the way. There's a lot of great stuff going on here. There's a lot of really great ideas. I think your ground base level Testament game plan is solid. I think there's a lot of things that really show promise, but it's not enough against someone who can adapt to what you're trying to do and someone who understands how to play Testament or play against Testament. Frank only plays Baiken. I think the big thing here is just varying your pacing, your rhythm, your tempo a little bit. There's a lot of things where you're just leaning into that layer 1 where Frank has shown you that he's gotten past layer 1 and has answers to a lot of what you have in store for him. Even though he got caught blocking an unholy diver on the ground, it didn't seem like he was very scared of it, and there wasn't enough variation to keep him guessing and overextending. So I think if you were to make a plan for your next week of practice, it's to change up what you do after a gravedigger. I think that's the thing I want to focus in on. Just because the succubus out doesn't mean you have to interact with it. So the heart is on screen. That means you have a lot of things that you can do. You can teleport, you can unholy diver, but you don't have to do those things, actually. Testament has a bunch of ways to utilize their ground buttons to put up a stop sign in such a way that if your opponent is trying to air dash over, you get the reaction 6p. That would be the next step afterwards. Even just doing something like /gravedigger full stop. That's it. That's the end of your string. You just hold your ground there. I think that can do a lot of really great things for what you have as a baseline. Other than that, it just seems like matchup inexperience and slight situational unawareness. Words are weird. But to close this out, changing what you do after the gravedigger is something that I think would be a great idea to focus on. I've talked about it a lot throughout this 40 minutes VOD review. So hopefully you can make some really some smart adjustments, and I want to see some improvement. I'm excited. I'm honestly really excited to see how you put everything together. This is already like actually legitimately so much better than when I got to see you play last. So happy practicing. Good luck with everything, and I hope to see you more.